Welcome to DFS Insights, where the game behind the game comes to life. I am David Geisler, and alongside me is David Grant Jr., my cousin and co-strategist. The teams up on the block are the Atlanta Hawks at the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, sir. This is where each of us are going to be giving you our three key players to focus on while you're going to be creating all of your lineups. Dave and I are going to give you a quick breakdown of what we like about the three main plays, and make sure to stay tuned until the very end where we give out two completely free lineups for you.
Yeah, and for those of you who are eager to, jump to get those lineups, the lineups are timestamped, listed down in the description below. But if you are here to craft a winning strategy with depth, go ahead and stick around. We're going to be breaking down three key players each from tonight's matchup and also giving a general game overview. And this will, help you not only build one potential winning lineup, but multiple winning lineups. So if you just want that quick win, go ahead and skip ahead. If not, stick around. We got you covered. And with that, let's get to it. Atlanta versus Phoenix. This is a little different.
Right?
It's not the Lakers. So, with that, it's pretty nice. Phoenix is just coming off a win, so this would be their second game in a back-to-back. They are favored by 9.5 in this matchup. The over/under sitting at about a 226. Atlanta is similar to the game we just covered. Memphis, they're very depleted. There are a lot of injuries on their team. Memphis had 11 active players. Atlanta has 13. So not too far off there. But with that, Atlanta is actually, sitting okay. Offensive ratings at 116.8. Their defensive ratings, where they've been struggling, kind of towards the bottom of the NBA here at 118.7. But they do have a pretty fast pace, one of the faster ones in the NBA at 101.3. Which is good because that's going to actually bring up the Phoenix Suns, who are sitting at a 99.32. So they're probably going to even out around about 100 or so possessions there. Defensive rating for Phoenix Suns 114, which is a little bit below or better than the league average, and their offense is sitting at about a 117.1. So they're looking pretty good. Phoenix Suns, they're right there, 6th, 7th, and 8th spot in the West are currently tied. Kings, Suns, and I believe the Dallas Mavericks all basically fighting for that 6th seed. Like literally, they're exactly same record. They're definitely gonna need the win. And Atlanta, I believe, is 10th in the East, so they're still fighting for a playoff spot, even though they're like 8 games below 500. And they're still in there. So. With that, we got several injuries, as I mentioned before. Just sit back, relax, grab a drink while I'm going to go quick through here. So a lot of these injuries, aren't necessarily going to be breaking the game as they all kind of been out. There is one huge one on the Atlanta side. But right now, Trae Young, he's been out for a while. Wesley Matthews, game time decision. I believe he will be playing. He was a game time decision before. Some other ones, Kobe Buffkin is a game time decision. Sadiq Bey is out. There's quite a bit. The one injury that is the keynote here for Atlanta is Jalen Johnson is out, and that's huge. He has been balling out the last few games. 44 fantasy points against the Lakers, 55 against the Clippers, 32, 36, 34 minutes. So those minutes need to go somewhere. And we'll go ahead and stick around, and we'll let you, when we do our key breakdowns, we'll probably be addressing that. As for the Phoenix Suns, nothing too much to note, really. These players have been out for a while, but it's Josh Okogie. He's actually a game time decision, but I believe he'll still be still be out, and Damian Lee, who's out. So, yeah, not too much to cover, but that Jalen Johnson news was big. So,
Yeah. Yep. That's the main one to be looking out for. Faux show.
all right, do you have anything to add for the game breakdown before we hit over here to our key players?
Few players here. Nope, nothing crazy. The Suns are at home. They're coming off 3 days rest besides the game that they played tonight. So I mean, they are, even though they're on a back-to-back, they are well rested. So that's definitely good news, and they're sleeping in their own bed. Other than that, no, I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, let's get to it. All right, we'll go ahead and start it off. Who do you got as your first key player here?
I go ahead and start off here with Mr. Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Man, only at 15K, which to me is rather shocking. DeJounte Murray is actually at 15.5 and higher than Kevin Durant. A little shocking, but anyhow, as you had mentioned earlier in the pod, the way the seeds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the West are just all right there, tied or within a game or a half a game. These last 13 games or so down the stretch are huge, and Kevin Durant is that guy. Man, when he was with Brooklyn like 2 years ago and everyone else was hurt, he was just out there dropping it, and he almost single-handedly beat Philadelphia. We get down to that game 7. He's that guy who can put this team, to me, is even better than that squad, and he can put them on their back and get a win over any team. He last time they played Atlanta, he did get 62 fantasy points. Kind of going back to the season before in 2022. He hit 59, and even the season before that around 67. So I mean, he's up there. And at 15K, I know they have him projected at around 40. I could see him definitely exceeding that very highly against this Atlanta team. He did only play 35 minutes tonight. It's like 35 minutes tonight. So I think he'll be ready to go. And if for any reason the game stays, within reason, they are 9.5-point favorites. But that's really not that much in today's NBA. So I'll be having him mainly at MVP. I will definitely be playing him, though, at the star and as low as the pro, mainly as an ownership play, because this slate does have some guys on here who all can hit 60 fantasy plus points. And so you really can put Kevin Durant even in the pro spot as an ownership play. So while my main focus will be MVP and star, I will sprinkle in a little bit of pro just to be contrarian. So that's my first pick. What are your thoughts, and who you got here for your first pick?
Yeah, I like Durant. 15K. That seems pretty good. It's just, this is weird. The second slate in a row we don't have a guy over 16K. Makes lineup construction, hey, awesome. You get to pick more of the stars, but like you mentioned, yeah, definitely MVP, star, pro would definitely be an ownership play. But like you mentioned, it's going to be him, probably Murray, Booker, and there's also, you can even go down to Beal, and Nurkic, for all MVP slots. So it's like they're all viable candidates there. So kind of be cycling them. But with that, my first pick, I'm actually going to go to the guy at 15.5. I can see why he's 15.5 over Kevin Durant, because the Hawks don't have anybody.
For sure.
They're shorthanded. Like if Trae Young was playing, I don't think Murray would be 15.5. I think he'd be a little bit lower. Trae Young would probably get the upper hand in that. So I will go to here. Mr. DeJounte Murray. I like him MVP star, but I could also, like you said, see him in the pro. But that's more of an ownership play. I mean, he's averaging last 5 games 37.7 minutes, insane. 30.4 usage.
Did you? Yeah.
That I mean, minutes and usage is what you're going for in an NBA player, and I'm pretty sure you can't. I don't think anybody tops that. He's averaging 46.2 fantasy points in the last 5, and he's projected about 44 this matchup. So, yeah, I don't see how he does. And the crazy thing is, when you didn't think his usage could get higher, his usage without Jalen Johnson actually goes up to about 32 and a half. So, that's even insane. And go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that's huge news with the injury, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So that's going to be that extra usage to get.
So yeah, and Phoenix has given up roughly about 36 fantasy points to his, shooting guard position, but they did just give up 60 to Lillard, 36 to Holiday, 39 to Garland, and about 60 to Quickly. So yeah, the potential for him to have a great game, it's there. Everything's in the works there. And at 15.5, I have plenty of salary to even throw in a few other players, stars up there if I want. So that's why he's one of my picks there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think he's arguably a must play. You have to pick one from the other team anyway. You can't just have 5 people from one squad. So not that I'll be doing a lot of 4-1. I could see this lineup construction being a lot of 3-2, one team or the other, with this new injury news from Atlanta. But DeJounte Murray is a plug and play at the 15.5. He could easily be 16.5, 17 with the numbers he's been producing and the usage and everything that you just mentioned. So, yeah, he's a must play. It's just really going to be about what spot are we going to fit him in for that ownership, to try to not tie with a bunch of people. So, yeah, great play. He's a must play, to be honest. and in one of those top 3 spots.
Yeah,
so.
Nice. Yeah, so with alongside him, I'm probably going to use his counterpart here as my second choice, Mr. Devin Booker. He's also crazy at 14.5. He does, definitely, saving that extra 1,000 is huge compared to Murray, excuse me. And last 5 games, 37.4 minutes, usage 25.9, which is huge. He's averaging 45.3, and he's projected roughly 44 fantasy points. He just came back from, it looks like, an injury in the last 5 games. He's basically averaging mid to high 40s. He had 1 game at 36. Definitely like Devin Booker. Atlanta's given up almost 42 fantasy points to opposing shooting guards, giving up about 32.7 to Harding, 49 to Russell from the Lakers, 41 to George, and 58 to Anthony Simons of the Trailblazers. So Booker, we know he has the potential to, shoot lights out here, go up to, mid 50s, 60s. So I'll be cycling probably him and a few other people from, the multiplier spots. So it's going to be hard to just, pinpoint that one, where he's going to be at. So this might be a good, to get a good lineup and then just cycle your, do the same lineup and then just cycle your multiplier spots. That way you can catch them all basically. So
nice. I definitely agree with that. And my only concern with him, an interesting stat that I'm seeing is that he averages around 20% less fantasy points when he has no rest. So he's not doing well on back-to-backs this season specifically. That's a little concerning, but again, he's a superstar. He's at home. It's crunch time for the playoffs, and we know what he's capable of. So, And again, he is going up against Atlanta. It's not like he's going up against some, top 5 team, even top 15 team. So, I like you mentioned, I'll definitely be having some exposure to him. Um, that kind of will lead me to my second pick, because as you mentioned, how shooting guards are doing against Atlanta. I'm actually going to go with Bradley Beal as my next pick, and the big reason for that is Beal is at 12.5, so you get the salary saver, and the last besides the last matchup, they did play each other February 2nd. But last season, he had 49, 47, and 52 fantasy points when he played against Atlanta. Um, it he's he I just feel like he's also due for for a big game. Like lately he's been balling pretty consistently, especially at 12.5. I mean, that is a guy you're going to want to get over 40 fantasy points if he's 12.5. He did get 46 against Milwaukee. He had 44 against Cleveland, 40 at Boston. Um, so it'll be, if Booker for any reason is kind of having an off night because of the back to back, I think Beal can step in there, and his upside is just about that of Booker's, but I get that extra 2,000 salary saving. So if he does only hit 40, and Booker hits 45 or something, then that salary difference there is what's going to make a difference, and I think he'll be lower owned. So Beal will be my second play. Again, mainly at the star and the pro. I'm not going to get out of control, and I don't see myself putting him at MVP. Not with the other guys that are there, but I'll definitely be having some exposure to him. So, what are your thoughts, kind of on him overall, and then kind of him versus Booker?
Yeah, overall, like he definitely has the potential to be in any fantasy lineup. 12.5, you're kind of you know debating what you're going to do with him at that range, right? Because if you're going one of the MVPs, right, Murray, Booker, or Durant, this guy is kind of going to be your second up ish. So you need him to have one of those games. Overall, I think he's good. I think he's easily capable to do that. As far as comparing him to Booker, he does have the potential, but I think Booker is way more consistent with the numbers. I mean, just looking back, Booker's numbers in the last 5 games, clearly more consistent and higher. The floor is set way higher for him. So while Booker is 2,000 more, if you're going to get an extra 10, 15 floor off that might be worth the pay up there. But yeah, no, ownership play for sure. Beal would be lower on than Booker. I can agree to that as well. So, but yeah, overall, I like the pick. Be curious to, as I'm doing my lineups, how much I get of him.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I'm with you on that. So looks like we're both down to our final plays here.
Yeah, go ahead. Start. Go ahead and end it here, and then I'll give you the last one.
All right, it's this injury news with Jalen Johnson is definitely, it makes me feel like we got to go with someone from Atlanta. DeAndre Hunter is kind of who I'm leading at here at 9,500. Man, at the 9,500, he, even against the Clippers, 27 fantasy points, Utah 31. He does have that upside of 35, 40 fantasy. He hit 40 fantasy points in 18 minutes against the Clippers. So I can only imagine, because we know the usage that Jalen Johnson takes up, when that gets spread around a little bit, Hunter is that guy that's going to step in and take advantage of that. So between that, I do see, it looks like Phoenix you know, yeah, it's a good matchup for him, and because of the salary at the 9,500, I think he's obviously going to be heavily owned at the utility. So, man, it's just so tough to get him into that pro spot. That would be under 3% to me, just because we got these other superstars up here. He might be a guy where you eat the chalk at utility because I'm sure he's going to be 30 to 45% owned in the utility. You might have to eat that and then make your change with ownership somewhere else up in the multiplier. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. What are your thoughts on DeAndre Hunter, and who you got here for your final pick?
Yeah, no, I like him, as he is actually my third pick as well here. So don't basically agree with everything. I do actually like him in the pro spot. So he is averaging last 5 games 30.2 minutes. His usage is pretty nice, 22.9. He's averaging 23.6 fantasy points, and he's projected roughly about 23. 23 in the pro, would like to see it a little higher, obviously around the 30-point range at least. But I think he has the potential to do that, and like you mentioned, the ownership will be less there. His usage actually goes up to 26.2 when Jalen Johnson's off. So now you have a guy who's probably going to be getting more minutes now. He's on why he's averaging, mid to low 30s. Now he's probably going to be in that mid 30, and on top of that, he's getting more usage. So the potential for him to get another 30, I projected him, if I had to do my own projection, I would say he's going to be closer to the high 20s, low 30 range there. So definitely like to play. Are there other plays? Can you pay up 500 for Grayson Allen? Yes. Can you pay down a little bit and get some other players? Yes, but I think he has a solid foundation plus the usage and the minutes, and that's NBA DFS. So that's what it is. So I like him. I'm going to be using him.
What are your thoughts on the guy right below him at 9K, the center power forward Akongwu? I'm butchering his
Okongwu, or whatever. I think he's good. I don't think. I think he's a reserve, like a bench player. So I think he might get maybe potential minutes there. But I think Capella is, the number one clearly there. But Hawks are depleted, so I'm assuming he is going to get time if he is healthy enough to go. He's a big guy. Toe injury. It was his first game back at 18 minutes. Now, does he play more minutes? Does he feel good? Do they ease him in? This is all things that going to have to dive deep into during lineup construction as I'm looking at him. But with the unknown at 9K, I can pay up 500 and get the kind of lack of for sure thing with Deontay Hunter. So
for sure, I think it'd just be it'd be a massive ownership play to me, because I think that ownership difference, like you said, you're paying for such an unknown. With 500 more, Hunter is such a better play just for that 500 security blanket. But you are trying to have a lower owned lineup. I think putting other dude in there just for a lineup or two might be a smart ownership move if you're making 10 lineups, 10 or more.
Yeah, an ownership play, but I also need, and regardless of what ownership he is, if he doesn't have points, he got to get the points with the ownership play. So if I'm hesitant that he's gonna get those minutes, I like I said, the ownership play is intriguing, but at the same time, with no one over 15.5, am I really going to sacrifice 500 for that? Now, I'm not saying don't roster him. I'm not saying any of that, but it's going to come down to, my lineup and like, am I going to have 9,000 left? Now, if I have 9,000 left, would he be a good play? I would have to, dive down more into that, see where my lineup's at and things like that. But, I don't know. I think that's pretty risky. So
yeah, I agree.
There's just too many players around him that are for sure things, and if he's, if there's it comes out and he's good to go, he's going to be seeing increased minutes. All right, well now I can see, his value taken into effect now at 9K. Okay, he's getting increased minutes. Now I can see potentially, mid low 20 minutes. Okay, start working with that. But right now I see a tall guy coming off a toe injury with 18 minutes. So.
Oh, right on, man.
But yeah, with that, now while we rambled on about Mr. Okanawu here, now if you jumped ahead, you're probably wondering, dude, where the heck are these lineups? So, without further ado, here they are right here up on the screen. Oh wow, pretty different there. So that's good. You guys get a full spectrum of lineups. Nice. So as we wrap up today's discussion, don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. It does really help us. You guys' support, by just hitting that like button, turning the notification bell on, we get put out into front of more people, and it does really do a lot for the channel to help us start growing. Also, as a bonus to you guys, we like to throw up in our short section 2 free picks, prize pick players for this slate. They're going to be the highest, projected hit for you on that slate. Prize picks is a little tricky when, posting videos the time the video goes live, and you probably see it. The pick's already gone, so just take those picks into consideration. And yeah, just like that, we look forward to doing more. Obviously, covering the NBA here through the playoffs and the end of the season here, and we're working currently on getting some UFC structure for a main slate for DraftKings. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, another reason to hit that like, subscribe button if you're interested in UFC content main slate. So with that, David, go ahead and take us away here.
Yeah, just all the more reason for you guys to tune in and hit that notification bell, because as David mentioned, he puts up those 2 free price picks up there, and those do fluctuate throughout the day. So if you want those picks while they're still hot, all the more reason to have that notification bell on. Please just like and subscribe, leave a comment. Good luck to everyone out there, and we will see you on the next one.